I'm all dressed up for a fundraising event, and I thought of all of you because I know when I go to an event like this, I'm obviously going to support and I'm going to have a great time, but I'm also looking for that opportunity where I might network, and I want to be prepared for that, and you should be too. Now, a networking opportunity at a base level is a chance to add someone smart and accomplished to your network. And on the flip side, to make a positive enough impression on that person that they choose to include you in theirs. It needs to be authentic, it can't be forced. But when that time comes, here's a couple of base time tips, pretty simple tips to keep in mind. Number one, ask questions. I know it sounds simple, but you have to really genuinely engage with someone if that network is going to have staying power. And that can't happen if you're doing all or most of the talking. People like to be heard. People like to feel like you are trying to get to know them. And frankly, studies show people like to talk about themselves, and they really like the person who asks them questions so that they can talk about themselves. So be that person and watch how the network sticks. Number two, though, offer up your own information. Preferably, it's going to be information that relates to this person. If you're actively listening and engaged, you should be able to share something that shows some common ground, some way that the two of you relate, or maybe it's just something interesting or gravitating about you that is going to be remembered. That's how you have a strong connection with somebody, and forging that connection is a two-way street. I actually tell my candidates when they're interviewing to really think about an interview that way, but that's a separate video. Number three, and you hear this throughout a lot of my videos, look to add value. Now, I'm not saying you need to walk away from every conversation with an action item you're going to do for this person. But if you are actively listening to the person and you're authentically engaged, you will often find moments to advise or to offer information or to provide some kind of assistance that will help the staying power of the connection you're building. I know when I'm talking to moms of teenage boys, I have many book recommendations at the ready. So that's just one example. And fourth, don't forget your elevator pitch. You're forging this connection in part, hopefully, to expand your business. And if you don't tell them what you do, they can't recommend you. They can't use your services. So you should always be ready with a 15 to 30 second narrative of who you are professionally, what you do, what audience you target, and it should be clear and it should be subtly self-promoting. Something that they can take away from them with them and they know what you're all about. That's how they're going to remember you in the short term, and more importantly, that's how they're going to remember it in the long term. So whenever and wherever you find it appropriate, I hope you'll take the opportunity to tell your elevator pitch. Now, logistically, when you get home from the night or maybe in the morning, make sure that you link in with this person, or you send them an email, or you send them a text, just something to make that connection official. And then you may even want to put in your calendar a time to find a reason to check in with them. And I tell you that because one, it should become a routine, and two, networks take maintenance. And that too is something that you should prepare for. So if you have these tips for your next event, I promise you're going to have a great time, but now you're also going to have a productive time. Enjoy.